kids. Huh? I don't know, I think those are grandkids, are they?
Are you a papa or are you?
I think they're here for Rick Copeland. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Are we ready, Jim, to go? 1 minute left, okay.
Councilwoman Foglio, do you have your computer there?
I do.
I just
got it.
emailed it to you.
I got it. I see it.
I'm going to call the regular council meeting for the City of Ashtabula to order. Today is Monday, October 6th, 2025. If at this time you would please stand for a prayer and stay standing for the pledge. Heavenly Father, we ask you to let your inspiration precede this council's actions so that all of us present here today and your assistance will further us, so that in every word and work of ours may take its beginning from you, and so begun, may through you reach its completion. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ms. Milberg, will you please call the roll?
Ms. Holman?
Present.
Mrs. Mills?
Here.
Mrs. DiGiacomo?
Here.
Mrs. Foglio?
Here.
Mr. Guerrero?
Here.
Mr. Simeone? Mr. Roscovics?
Here.
Mr. Timonier?
Here.
Ms. Cooper?
Here.
Mr. Khan?
Here.
All right, may I have a motion to excuse Mr. Simeone from tonight's meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Holman moves and Mrs. DiGiacomo seconds. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? He will be excused by a 6-0 vote. We are okay with our sunshine law and our meeting requirements. We are going to begin tonight's meeting with a presentation. We are going to honor A. Lewis Supply and Mr. Koblitz for 120 years of service to the city of Ashtabula, the company, not Mr. Koblitz. But, and so at this time, we will like to present the resolution to Mr. Koblitz. Would you like to come forward, sir?
I've known Rick for years and have worked with him on many projects involving the ADDA. We've done everything from cutting down corn stalks to attaching them to poles from West 58th all the way down to Route 20. We've cleaned pots, we've planted pots, we've done cleanups, we've done festivals, and I'm just honored to have him here tonight. I'd like to take a moment to recognize Rick Koblitz for his steady dedication to our community. Rick has always been someone you can count on, thoughtful, dependable, and deeply committed to Ashtabula. Whether it's been through his work, volunteer efforts, or the quiet ways he supports others, Rick leads by example. He shows it what it means to care about people and about progress. On behalf of this council, I want to thank Rick Koblitz for all he has done and continues to do to make Ashtabula a stronger, better place. Thank you, Rick, for your service and your heart for this city. I'm going to read your resolution now. A resolution honoring A. Lewis Supply Company, where it has come to the attention of this city council and these public officials of the city of Ashtabula, Ohio, that A. Lewis Supply Company is celebrating 120 years. And whereas A. Lewis Supply Company is a local family-owned and operated business that originated in 1905 as a small plumbing and heating supply company. In 1948, the company was acquired by a corporation headed by Sanford E. Sandy Koblitz. Sandy's youngest son, G. Richard Koblitz, assumed ownership of the corporation in 1986, and whereas under Rick's leadership, the company has grown into a wholesale distribution company with more than 600 product vendors in 18 major product categories and more than 200,000 different products. Whereas A. Lewis Supply Company is the oldest business on Main Avenue and has demonstrated a long-standing commitment to excellence and service to the community. Throughout its 120-year history, A. Lewis Supply Company has shown dedication to its employees and has remained a trusted partner to businesses and individuals throughout Northeast Ohio. Whereas A. Lewis Supply Company is a true testament of exceptional service and dedication to the community, and now, therefore, be it resolved that this City Council and these public officials of the City of Ashtabula, Ohio, do hereby convey A. Lewis Supply Company our heartfelt congratulations for 120 years of service to the City of Ashtabula, and we wish A. Lewis Supply Company continued success for years to come.
I haven't prepared a speech, but I'm never short of words. I'd like to thank council and the administration for this award. We've worked hard in years to keep the place going through COVID and various other things, but we're here to serve the community, and we're glad to have the award. You want to?
That's right. No?
thank you.
All right.
Yeah, I got it right here. So at this time, I will entertain a motion to accept Resolution 2025-176, honoring A. Lewis Supply.
So moved.
Second.
Mrs. Foglio moves, Ms. Holman seconds. All in favor? Oh, wait a minute, I need a roll call vote, I'm sorry. Ms. Milburn, will you call the roll?
Ms. Holman,
Yes.
Mrs. Mills,
Yes.
Mrs. DiGiacomo,
Yes.
Mrs. Foglio,
Yes.
Mr. Guerrero,
Yes.
and Mr. Roskovich.
Yes, the resolution has passed by a 6-0 vote. So once again, thank you and congratulations. Now, you're welcome to stay if you would like to, or feel free to leave if you would like to do that too. And I think you got 3 little ones. They're probably like, yeah, they're probably like, I wanna go home. So, and thank you for coming and congratulations again.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Okay, we have no request for an executive session, so we will go on to the approval of our minutes.
September 15th, 2025 work session was called to order at 5:30 PM by Council President Roskovich. Present, Mr. Roskovich, Mr. Simeone, Mrs. Foglio, Mr. Guerrero, Ms. Holman, Mrs. Mills, and Mrs. DiGiacomo. Officers present were City Manager Timonier, City Solicitor Cooper, and Clerk of Council Milberg.
May I have a motion to waive the reading of the work session minutes? So move.
Second.
Mrs. Foglio seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We will waive the minutes by a 6-0 vote. Waive the reading of the minutes.
September 15th, 2025 regular council meeting was called to order at 7 p.m. by Council President Roskovich. Vice President Simeone offered the opening prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance was recited. Present, Mr. Roskovich, Mr. Simeone, Mrs. Foglio, Mr. Guerrero, Ms. Holman, Mrs. Mills, and Mrs. DiGiacomo. Officers present were City Manager Timonier, City Solicitor Cooper, Finance Director Khan, and Clerk of Council Milberg.
May I have a motion to waive the reading of the minutes?
So moved.
Mrs. Foglio moves, Mr. Guerrero seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We will waive the reading of the minutes by a 6-0 vote. We did that. Yeah, yeah, we did.
Mr. President,
Thank you. Okay, thank you, Ms. Milburn.
Mr. President,
Yes,
I know we've waived a reading. At what point in time do I make a comment about an addition to the minutes?
now would be the time to do that.
Just would like for you all to, and again, Ms. Milberg, thank you for the minutes, and I don't know the structures behind them, but I know when Councilor Foglio asked why the ad hoc committee wouldn't just continue as it has been, Madam Solicitor gave a response, and it was an educated response, and I think that response should be included in the minutes. And she said because the purpose of an ad hoc committee is do exploration and the research, and once the committee has completed that, then something needs to happen. So it was request that the ad hoc committee continue in a different capacity, and Madam Solicitor gave her response. Thank you.
So we will have those corrections added to the minutes, and then we will vote on them next week. Okay. Anything else? We will go on to our administrative team reports. City Council, I have nothing to share at this time. Do any councilors have any comments?
Mr. President?
Yes.
I just wanted to thank the council, each counselor. I was requested, I got an email from Phil Tomko. He's the outreach program manager at Taussig Cancer in Cleveland Clinic. He was reaching out with an opportunity to continue to collaborate on advancing cancer prevention and early detection efforts in Ashtabula and the surrounding areas. He was applying for the Cleveland Clinic Catalyst grant for $100,000 to pilot innovative outreach strategies, including virtual reality educational tools, expanding kits, colonoscopies, community-focused education initiatives. So worked with the clerk, and she came up with some language with all the information that was there, and we were able to submit it to support this. So I thank every counselor that we got it signed, and the letter of support went in time. So I just wanted to thank everybody for that.
Thank you. And thank you for going through all that, Mrs. Mills. That was a lot of extra running around. Ms. Milberg, thank you for that letter. Hopefully that grant will come to fruition for our area. Anyone else? Mr. Manager, do you have a report for us this evening?
I do. Thank you, Mr. President. First, I'm requesting an ordinance to enter into a contract with Bob Summerell Tire Company here in Ashtabula for the purchase of tires with polyfill for a loader at the sanitation department in the amount not to exceed $11,050. Payment for this purchase will be made from Fund 225.
Mr. President,
Yeah.
I move on the manager's recommendation.
Second.
Mrs. Foglio moves and Mrs. DiGiacomo seconds. Any discussion? All in favor?
Excuse me.
Yes.
Just one question. Are we already using that kind of a tire or no?
We are using that kind of a tire. They're just completely worn out, so we have to put new ones on. Yep.
All right, thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We will add it to our agenda by a 6-0 vote.
Next, I would like to enter a contract with Cummins Sales and Service in Cleveland, Ohio, in the amount not to exceed $29,477.05 to make repairs to the generator at the Water Pollution Control Plant. This will be paid from Fund 504.
Mr. President,
Yes.
I move on the manager's recommendation.
Mrs. Foglio
Second.
moves.
I'll second.
Mrs. Mills seconds. Any discussion? All in
Wait,
favor?
Can the
Oh, so-
manager just explain what you did in pre-council about the generator, where we're at with all that?
Sure. So right now, I think it's been a couple meetings now, I brought to council an ordinance to rent a temporary generator, which is down there and we are still using. They have identified that the fuel pump on this generator has gone out. It needs to be rebuilt. This is a rebuild cost. There is not one available that's new because it's a generator from 1984. But it is a Cummins engine on it, and they are able to rebuild it for us. It has been sent out of state to get this quote, and then once we do this ordinance and I'm able to sign the contract, they will begin working on it.
Thank you.
Anything else? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We will add it to our agenda by a 6-0 vote.
Those two ordinances are on your agenda for tonight. This is for a future meeting. I would like to enter into an agreement with Xylem, which is in Charlotte, North Carolina, for the purchase of replacement parts for the Water Pollution Control Plant's water treatment UV system. Xylem is a sole source for these parts. Expenses will be paid from Fund 504 and will not exceed $37,549.
Mr. President,
Yes.
I move on the manager's recommendation.
Mrs. Foglio moves. Mr. Roskovich will second. Any discussion? Mrs. Cooper, are we allowed to say that if the ordinances that are being voted on in November were to pass, then these would not be necessary, or are we not allowed to say that?
That would be a commentary, not a political statement, so
Okay.
yes.
Okay. Yeah, the ordinance that are on the November election, the three that the city are proposing, will raise the limit so that these amounts would not need to come before council. Okay, thank you. Anyone else? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We will add it by a 6-0 vote.
Just one announcement, Mr. Khan did forward to me today budget draft, so he and I will now be sitting down tomorrow morning, as a matter of fact, to start going over the rest of this, and we hope to have a budget to you here probably mid-October. We'll be able to present it to you. I think we'll be on track for that. We have also, I believe it's this Friday will be our first start of negotiations with the unions. So we do intend to get that done here quickly as well.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments? Ms. Cooper?
Just briefly, Ms. Colgan did a small report before I left this afternoon. And we've been talking about doing injunctions to clean up properties around the city. So far, we have filed against 25 different properties. There have been 4 either consent judgments or default judgments entered. The others are in various states of getting to court. They either have hearings scheduled. One of them I know has a motion hearing scheduled. Another one was continued to give the property owner an opportunity to make repairs before the case actually came before the court. But that process is moving forward at a steady clip.
Thank you.
Could you tell us, us non-legal people, you mentioned 4 some kind of injunctions and so many, can you
So
tell us what that means?
Yes, sir. We filed for injunctive relief requiring these people to clean up their properties or bring them into compliance. If they don't, then we bring them in front of the court again for a contempt hearing, and the judge can fine them $100 each time they're in contempt.
Okay.
It's a faster process and a bigger penalty than if we went through the criminal process. in one of these cases, the person failed to file an answer, so we got a judgment against them because they failed to respond
Okay.
within the 28 days or however many days they're allotted. The other 3, it came for hearing and they agreed to what we asked for and they agreed to the time frame we asked for, so the judge entered an order on our behalf. The
Okay.
rest will go to contested hearings.
That we contested.
Mhm.
Okay.
So Steve Nelson will get a lot of practice testifying.
Okay. Thank you. And I think, it's important to note, a lot of times as counselors, we'll get calls about a property and this or that. And I always tell people, this takes time, government is slow, and, they got 28 days to answer the complaint, and then it can go on longer. So it's not like the city's not dealing with, it's not like your counselor hasn't reported it, it's just that this is a slow process, so.
Mr. President,
Yes,
Ms. Solicitor, are these residential or commercial properties?
Residential for the most part. Some of them are like rentals that are owned by either corporations or out-of-town owners that have agents in town. But for the most part, they're residential.
And how are these complaints submitted?
So somebody generally calls the Department of Community Development and the Planning and Community Development, and then they send out the building inspector. He does an outside inspection of the property. If he sees possible violations, he talks to the owner, gives them a letter, gives them time to fix it. If they don't, then he brings it to us for injunctive relief. And then they're served by certified mail with the motion.
Thank you.
Mr. President,
yes.
and I don't know if this is the right time to ask this, but we did hire another code enforcement officer?
So we have the housing inspector, and then we have a code enforcement officer, yes.
Okay, so we did, okay.
Yep.
Can I ask how that's working out, or,
It's been going okay so far.
okay.
Yep, a lot of learning to do.
Okay. Mr. Khan, you have a report for us?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. We have an ordinance to make supplemental increases and decreases to appropriations in the general fund, public works fund, auto registration, sanitation, and all other funds listed on Exhibit A for current expenses and other expenditures of the city of Ashtabula, state of Ohio, for the period of January 1st through December 31st, 2025, in the amount of $56,800.
Thank you. I will make a motion, we add that to our agenda.
Second.
Mrs. Foglio will second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We will add it to our agenda by a 6-0 vote. Thank you, Mr. Khan. Ms. Milberg, anything?
Just a reminder of the ribbon cutting at the Ashtabula Dream Center on Wednesday at noon.
Wednesday, I knew. All right, thank you. All right, we would now come to the time where we are going to have committee reports, community development, economic development, and parks.
Yes. So we had our meeting on Wednesday, October 1st. Our guest presentation was Buckeye Pace. The presenter was Chelsea Romanowski. And I'm just going to go through the highlights. Buckeye Pace program for all-inclusive care for the elderly helps residents 55+ stay safe and independent at home. Services include transportation, clinic care, therapy, wound care, prescriptions, nutrition, home assistance, and adaptive equipment. In-home and day center services are available. The clinic partners with local hospitals and primary care physicians. Cost, no out-of-pocket cost for those that are eligible for Medicare and Medicaid, which she said that it's not a household income, it would be an individual income. So if you are 2,900 or below a month, you would qualify for Medicaid. Their location is at 2148 Lake Avenue, which is the former Rite Aid building. And if you're interested, you can contact them from 1-800-469-0785. Then the city manager gave his report. First was on the Opportunity Zone 2.0, new round to begin in early 2026, designed to attract investment in qualified census tracts throughout the state income tax credits. City working with Growth Partnership and Lake to River Economic Development Group to add more areas, especially Main Avenue. The Appalachian Community Grant Program, major update, individual business owners cannot hold contracts for funded work. City of Eastgate must hold them. This would require the city to manage 24 separate contracts with no administrative funding. City officials are reviewing options to manage the workload. Master Plan Steering Committee, first meeting was successful. Future meetings and community surveys are being planned. Recycling program expansion, city exploring grant funding up to $200,000 with 20% match to expand recycling citywide. Without the grant, expansion cannot move forward. Trash and sewer rates will likely increase regardless. City will reapply for funding this year. Applications due December. Charter amended issues on November ballot, spending limit, increased threshold requiring council's approval from $10,000 to $50,000. Change orders, allow city manager to approve change orders up to $50,000 without council vote. Variance, allows a 10% variance on contracts if costs exceed estimates slightly. Parks and Recreation Board report was given by Blake Hinkle. Tree replacement ordinance, proposal replace each tree removed with 2 new trees, not necessarily in the same park. Goal, maintain and grow the city's urban canopy. This is really large print, so when I'm turning pages, don't get nervous. 4 trees recently removed were diseased, no harvesting plan exists. Recommendation in collaboration, work with OSU Extension, Nature Conservancy, and Western Reserve Land Conservancy to identify appropriate native species. Park improvements. Park improvements in NEOS recognized for upgrades at the West 38th Street Park, new equipment and landscaping. It was suggested that we do a resolution of appreciation to NEOS. And it was also brought up the spotter and lantern fly. Residents remind to report any sightings. My Neighborhood Collaborative by Julie Wayman. Volunteer membership and capacity have declined. Group discussing reducing or removing community garden at Clifford Caden Presidential Park. Invited to present options at the next Park and Recreation meeting, October 27th. Residents' comments. Ryan Lensel asked about recycling access for wards without curbside pickup. Residents may drop off at City Transfer Station or Saybrook Township Parks, Route 45. And that's it. And our next meeting is November, it's that first, it's November, when is our next meeting? November 5th at 5:30. And that's it.
All right. Thank you, Mrs. DiGiacomo. We'll request a resolution for NEOs for the work they have done on the West 38th Street Park.
So do you want me to make that motion?
Why don't you make that motion?
I will make that motion.
Second.
Mrs. DiGiacomo moves, Mrs. Foglio seconds. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We will draft a resolution by a 6-0 vote.
Mr. President?
Yes.
Just an update on NEOS. So we did communicate with them this morning. The playground equipment that they donated towards showed up on Friday, so our staff will be installing that over the next week or so. And they would like to come on November 3rd to give them plenty of time to organize their folks to come and receive the resolution. So it'll be the November 3rd meeting.
All right, very good. Thank you, Mr. Timner. Okay, Finance and Personnel Report.
Yes, I have a report, and I'll try to go really fast. We started off with our finance report, and our Assistant Finance Director, Carolyn Sheldon, was then there. Our Director of Finance was out in a seminar, and she reported for the department and stated that it was recently discovered that our former Finance Director, Augustin, changed the income tax collection procedure and dropped the practice of sending assessment letters to tax customers. Assistant Solicitor Colgan verified that the letter is necessary as part of the tax collection process. Therefore, the practice of sending letters was reinstated with changes to the time frame from 30 days to pay to the balance of 10 days. It will be verified if the 10-day time frame is acceptable, and considering post office delays, 10 days may not be enough time. 10 days is okay? Okay. The municipal court is working with the Attorney General's office to collect old fines from the last 10 years totaling over $1 million. The court is seeing money coming back from the Attorney General's office, which should bring in additional revenue. There are a few funds with negative balances, but are being addressed. One of the funds with a severe negative balance is the sanitation fund, and it is in trouble with revenues not supporting expenses. The manager and the finance director are working on a plan to address the fund. The manager has been working on a plan to roll out our recycling program to the rest of the city. A spreadsheet has been created to see what the increase will be for residents. He stated that currently, even if the city got a loan to cover the cost of bins, there is not a mechanism to pay back the loan. The city is expected to receive about $100,000 for the November snowstorm, and it will be returned to the Public Works Fund. Ms. Sheldon also stated that the city has budgeted $335,000 in income interest, and at the end of the year, we expect to exceed that amount, which is great for the city. Members asked how sanitation increase would be structured. The manager stated that the rates are in the codified ordinance, and the increase will be presented to council for consideration. The increase could be anywhere from $1 to $4. The manager reported that promotional exams for the fire department are scheduled for January. Entrance exams for the police department are scheduled for November, and staffing is sufficient. There are retirements due in both departments and also openings in the finance department. Lieutenant Chris DeFina was promoted to jail administrator, so congratulations, Chris. And the first corrections officers have started a couple weeks ago. The manager and the finance director are currently working on the 2026 budget, and contract negotiations with the various unions are beginning. Solicitor Cooper stated that she has a contract for the new probation officer, which is in tonight's packet, and also they have a signed contract for the training cost should she terminate her employment. And the last thing is good news. The city has received over $38,000 from the bed tax, due in part to the success of the Riverbend Hotel. So we appreciate that, because I think we were getting like $3,000 at one time, and
Yeah, it's
It
gone
was-
from 3, and I think last year we were around 9 before the hotel opened
now
up.
we're at $38,000, so congratulations. Our next meeting is October 17th at 8:30, and if I could just add, our Memorial Committee meeting is October 15th at 5 o'clock.
Mrs. Sullivan, where does that bed tax money get funneled to?
The bed tax money goes into the general fund, and typically we use it for economic development things, or for our dues when it comes to Growth Partnership, or the Chamber of Commerce, or the Convention and Visitors Bureau, those types of things.
Mrs. Foglio?
Yes.
So, did you say, did we get 100,000 for the snowstorm?
We haven't gotten anything back, have we? But
We just got word today that it was finally approved on September 29th, and it'll be a couple more weeks before they cut. They're actually sending us a check rather than sending it to us electronically, so it'll be a couple more
We
weeks.
spent 200, how much did we spend?
Oh, we submitted almost, I think we were close to 400,000.
So, and we're only going to
We're
get
only
how
getting
much?
100 back, yeah.
Okay. And a year later, just about a year
Yep.
later.
Mhm. Yep.
Okay.
I want to say it was close to 400,000. I could be, I think after we kept on having to pare it down, they said, well, this isn't an eligible cost and you can't submit this and that and the other. And then it became, they only covered 75% of what was allowable. So it was like working with an insurance company more than an EMA.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we have a Public Works report.
Yes, we do. We had a meeting on Tuesday, September 23rd. First, the manager's report. He also did the Public Works report. Staff are starting to get the plow trucks ready for winter. The parks are winding down. Water will be shut off at the city parks late October. Staffing levels are good across all city departments. The street sweeper was out for repair at that time, and is it still out? Still out?
Yes.
Okay. There was a few items on the punch list for Carvo to finish. Are those done, or?
We're pretty much wrapped up. They're just doing the final quantities now.
Okay. The water line project on Carpenter Road is close to being done, and then Koski will mill and pave the road. We talked about the mini excavator and the trailer. So those are on order. We don't have those yet, right?
Mini excavators in, trailers coming next week, I believe, next week or the following.
Okay. So we were talking about how many plows would be on the road this winter. We have 10 or 11 pieces of equipment. We have 6 to 8 employees to operate them. Depending on the budget, would like to add another Mack plow to the fleet possibly next year. We talked about converting the chassis from the current sewer jet into a plow. Water pollution, Mr. Verzella, the superintendent, provided the report. The outfall relocation is ongoing. The contractor is actively working to excavate and install the new outfall structure. The tentative deadline for completion is October 31st. So are we kind of on schedule on that one still?
We are, yep.
Okay. Staff is working to get a battery or solar-powered radar level indicator that will communicate the current system at the facility so the EPA can be notified when water goes out into the lake. The EPA had some additional comments on the mixing zone study that were not expected. Amendola Engineering is preparing a revised proposal, and that was accommodated in the budget. We talked about the outfall, when it would be up and running. So Mr. Vizella said it currently flows 4,000 feet out to the lake through the broken pipe. Whenever that backs up, the water will flow out to the new outfall, and the EPA will need to be notified when that happens. Once the mixing zone studies are completed, those are seasonal, a permit modification request will be sent to the state. After that's approved, the old outfall can then be abandoned, and the new one will operate at 100%. This whole process will probably be about 18 months. We talked about the generator, so even though we're gonna get that one fixed, is that still gonna be on that bottom budget for, because what's a new one, 2 million?
It's extremely pricey, so, but it is part of our upgrades to the plant that are
Okay.
being developed right now.
Okay. Let's see, water pollution did work at the household hazardous waste collection that was at ATEC on this past weekend. And then, for the first time, the city hosted the northeast section of the Ohio Water Environment Association meeting. Myself and President Roskovich attended. It was well-received by those in attendance. Very impressive, different municipalities. They had never been here. They were very impressed how clean and pristine the plant was, you know, given the age and how many staff that run it. There was a few things other municipalities have never experienced, like relocating an outfall. Lots of conversation on that. just being in the lab with some of the guys, some of the technology we have, I asked, well, how is yours? And like ours is, like, we're more high-tech, so it was kind of nice to know that, you know, they were impressed by a lot of the stuff that we had. It was absolutely just a wonderful, wonderful event. So I'd like to thank Water Pollution and all the staff there, because it was, well, it's always spick and span down there, but it was a great day. The weather was perfect, and it didn't smell too bad. And our next meeting, okay, let's see, our next meeting is going to be October 28th here at 8:30 in the morning.
Thank you, Mrs. Mills. Safety forces?
Yes, Mr. President, our next meeting will be this Thursday, which is October 9th at 8:30, right here at this building.
Okay, thank you. All right, Planning Commission, the Planning Commission met last week or 2 weeks ago, and they approved 3 items. One was a daycare center on 3rd Street. It was an in-home daycare center, and they just wanted to take a few more kids. It had to go before the Planning Commission, and they approved that, said that was okay. They approved the bounce house, like little thing for kids. It's moving from the mall to the church over here by North Park. So they approved allowing the bounce house to conduct their business there. And I think they're gonna be opening here pretty soon, I saw somewhere. All right, and then they also approved the reopening of the store on the corner of Woodman Avenue and Route 20. The Planning Commission gave that a go too. And so that's gonna, I see they got an A to Z Mart or something, and the guy who owns it is from Paynesville area, so he's gonna be opening that. So those were all approved by the Planning Commission. The Historic Preservation Committee is meeting this Wednesday. I did miss their last meeting, so I apologize for that. I wasn't getting emails, but I missed it. But they approved a sign in opening for the new, on Bridge Street, there's a new cafe. I believe it's called Three Sisters Cafe. It's right next to the Harbor Gardens. Years ago, it was like they would sell interesting clothing, and then it was a vape shop. But now it's it's very nice inside. But I did miss that meeting, but the Historic Committee approved that. And they have a meeting this Wednesday. All right, those are all. Ad hoc committee, is there anything?
No official report, just the committee wanting to know what are the next steps. Any conversation or question from the draft ordinance to establish the Ashtabula City Thriving Communities Commission or advisory, or whatever the council would prefer. And also, as I mentioned, the partnership with ARMC and wanting the committee to conduct a racial wealth gap simulation. It will be October 30th, and we're looking forward to that partnership.
Will that be open if council, no, okay.
They prefer that it be closed, but we're
Okay.
happy to create another day where council can participate.
Okay, thank you. All right, we have come to the public, our legislative part of our meeting. If you would like to comment on these items of legislation only, if you want to comment on something else, you'll have to wait till we vote on the legislation. But if you would like to comment on repealing of ordinance 158, which is an employee at municipal court, authorizing compensation and wages for the municipal court and probation employees, an authorization to buy tires from Bob Summerall, increase and decreases in the appropriation funds, a CRA, a tax incentive agreement, a tax abatement for Rebecca Rogers, and I believe that business is Becker's Restaurant, and an ordinance authorizing common sales and service for a water pollution control generator. Would anyone like to comment on any of those items? You like to say anything? Would you like to say anything about your abatement? No? You're gonna add on to the back of your
Yes, we're
restaurant?
adding on. It's gonna be a venue, 64 more seats, for parties, over, you know, like, we have too many people in a restaurant, we have more seating available.
Mhm.
So, yeah, like a banquet room.
Okay, and it'll be in the back, you're gonna go in
Yes.
the back? Okay, very good, well, good luck
Thank you.
with that. And, you know, when Perkins closed, everybody's like, everybody, you guys have made everybody forget about Perkins was even there. So congratulations,
Appreciate that.
yeah, good job. Anyone else would like to comment on any of the legislation? All right, if not, at this time, I will entertain a motion to take item 2025-144 and 2025-145. They had been tabled, and I will entertain a motion to take those off the table.
I'll make that motion.
Mrs. Foglio moves.
Second.
Mrs. Mills will second. Any discussion? These are the court things that we were waiting to see how the contract was written. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We will take that off the table by a 6-0 vote.
I have to abstain, so it'd be a 5-0 vote.
I did, you know, as I was, and I don't mean to be difficult, but as I was doing research over these last couple of months, I seem to find myself reading our rules about, if a member of council wants to abstain from a vote, they have to request the permission from council. So on this, would you like to make a request to abstain? Mrs.
Yes.
DiGiacomo?
Yes.
Mrs. DiGiacomo has made a request to abstain. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Ms. DiGiacomo will abstain by a 6-0 vote. Okay. That was enough.
It'd be a 5-0 vote, right? Because we're
5 to-
missing one.
5-0 vote. Okay. All right. Yeah, I was reading that when you want to abstain, council has to approve your abstention or your request to abstain. All right, Ms. Milberg, would you like to read the ordinances for us this evening?
Ordinance number 2025-144, an ordinance repealing ordinance 2025-158 for the purpose of enacting replacement legislation, providing compensation, salaries, and wages to employees of the Ashtabula City Municipal Court and Probation Divisions. Ordinance number 2025-145, an ordinance authorizing compensation, salaries, and wages to employees of the Ashtabula City Municipal Court and Probation Divisions.
Okay, we'll stop there and vote on these two. May I have a motion to waive the reading of these two items of legislation in its entirety?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. President, I think this says 2024-158.
Oh,
She
okay.
said 2025.
Is that
I guess it doesn't make a big deal, but
It is 2024, my mistake.
25?
24.
Okay,
It says 20.
she said 25.
Okay, okay,
okay.
got it.
All right, so, I'm sorry, who made the motion to waive the reading?
I did.
Mrs. Foglio moved to waive the reading in its entirety. Mrs. Mills, you second?
Yes.
Okay. All in favor of waiving the reading of the legislation?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We will waive the reading by a 5-0 vote. I will entertain a motion to waive the charter requirements of 2 readings.
So
Second.
moved.
Ms. Holman moves. Mrs. Foglio seconds. Any discussion? Ms. Milburn, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Guerrero?
Yes.
Mr. Roskovich?
Yes.
Ms. Holman?
Yes.
Mrs. Mills?
Yes.
Mrs. Foglio?
Yes.
We will waive the 2 readings by a 5-0 vote. We will now vote on the adoption of these items. Will you please call the roll?
Mrs. Foglio?
Yes.
Mr. Guerrero?
Yes.
Mr. Roskovich?
Yes.
Ms. Holman?
Yes.
Mrs. Mills?
Yes.
These 2 items have passed by a 5-0 vote. We will continue on with tonight's legislation. Ms. Milberg?
Ordinance number 2025-177, an ordinance authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract with Bob Summerall Tire Company for the purchase of tires with polyfill for a loader at the sanitation department. Ordinance number 2025-178, an ordinance to make supplemental increases and decreases to appropriations in the general fund, SCMR Public Works, auto registration, sanitation, and all other funds listed on Exhibit A for current expenses and other expenditures of the City of Ashtabula, State of Ohio, for the period January 1st through December 31st, 2025. Ordinance number 2025-179, an ordinance authorizing the city manager to enter into a community reinvestment area tax incentive agreement with Rebecca Rogers for commercial tax abatement at 75% for 10 years for the expansion of a restaurant located at 1601 West Prospect Road. Ordinance number 2025-180, an ordinance authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract with Cummins Sales and Service to make repairs to the generator at the water pollution control plant.
Thank you. Is it council's desire to handle these 4 items in consent agenda format? I will move that we do that.
I'll second.
Mrs. Foglio will second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We will handle these by a 6-0 vote. Is there a motion to waive the reading of this legislation in its entirety?
So moved.
Second?
Ms. Holman moves and Mrs. Mills seconds. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We will waive the reading by a 6-0 vote. I will entertain a motion to waive the charter requirements of 2 readings of the legislation.
Second.
Motion.
Oh, motion, I'm sorry. I thought you motioned.
Yeah, no, I just entertain a motion. Ms. Foglio moves. Mr. Roskovich will second. I ended up taking it. Any discussion? Will you please call the roll, Mrs. Milberg?
Mrs. DiGiacomo?
Yes.
Mrs. Foglio?
Yes.
Mr. Guerrero?
Yes.
Mr. Roskovich?
Yes.
Ms. Holman?
Yes.
Mrs. Mills?
Yes.
We will waive 2 readings by a 6-0 vote. We will now vote on the adoption of these items.
Mrs. Foglio?
Yes.
Mr. Guerrero?
Yes.
Mr. Roskovich?
Yes.
Ms. Holman?
Yes.
Mrs. Mills?
Yes.
Mrs. DiGiacomo?
Yes.
These items of legislation have passed by a 6-0 vote. Anything else legislatively? No? Okay.
Mr. President,
Yes.
since we do have the owners of the restaurant here, I'd just like to say, and you came this evening, with the cost of everything going up, you know, to expand and to, you know, to invest in the city, this is a big deal. I looked at your paperwork, you're expanding your employees. You have affordable, a great product, and so I just, you know, welcome that it's going to expand and and staying in the city. So, thank you for coming tonight.
We couldn't have done it without this community, absolutely.
We love your food.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, is there any unfinished business before council?
Yeah, Mr. President, I have a few questions to ask.
Mhm.
And this is about the master plan,
Okay.
which, you know, I have no problem with how you picked it, or, I mean, that you're well within your right. But I never got a list of who was on it. Now, unless I missed the email, I mean, I have no
I don't-
idea who's on the master plan. I saw a picture in a paper that they had a meeting, and
Yeah.
I,
I know as a member of the committee, I received the list, but maybe we could share that list with.
Mr. President, yeah, I don't think we ever sent out a list, so
Yeah.
I can put it together for you, sure.
oh, that would be great.
Yeah, that'd be good.
My next question is, this is in conjunction with the consulting firm, correct?
Correct. Envision.
What is the name of that?
Envision.
Okay, and then, how much is this gonna cost, the consulting firm fee?
I don't remember. You all passed the ordinance
I
earlier
just
this year. I
want
want
for
to
the
say
record.
it was between 70 and 80,000.
Okay,
Yes.
And then, how long is this process supposed to take?
We should be done with the master plan portion of it sometime in June, and then we'll get right into zoning after that.
Okay, and then, does the city council have to vote on the finished product?
Absolutely. So it'll actually go to the planning commission. Planning commission will review it and make a recommendation to council.
Okay, so here's my question, my dilemma. And I can't speak for the rest of the counselors that are not on the committee, but just for me personally, I'm gonna feel really bad if we get the final draft of this and it's not extremely word too friendly and I vote no. After all that time and money and effort was put into it, and I just wanna know if there is some kind of mechanism, granted, we're not on the committee and I have no desire to go to a meeting that I have no say in, if we could just be kept kind of informed of the steps that are taking place instead of saying, here it is, because personally, I will vote no if I don't like it. And if it's not word too friendly. And that's a lot of work and a lot of effort and a lot of time that everybody's putting into it for a negative result. And that's just my fear that come next June, if we don't even have a hint of what this is all about, it could potentially be a no-go. And I just don't want that to happen. I don't want us, and I don't want to be backed in a corner.
No, to do it because everybody.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I think that's very good, valid concerns. Maybe when you send out the list with all the people on the committee, I saw where they have picked the dates for the meetings. And there'll be 3 community meetings that they, anybody from the community can go to with this Envision Corporation and share their thoughts and concerns and so forth. So there'll be 3 of those meetings, but it might be a good thing, and I think maybe after, that the committee meets, that we do give a report to council on.
Or minutes or something of that effect. It doesn't
That would be a good thing, I think.
Mr. President, so there's a lot of things still forthcoming with this. First off, as Mr. President mentioned, there will be community meetings. I think right now there's a minimum of 3. There will also be a community survey that's sent out. They are developing a website for us right now that's going to keep all the stuff that's going on, everybody informed of the process. That'll be linked on our website so people can get to it easily. But the community meetings are going to be very important. We're trying to narrow down locations right now we're hoping that there'll be big crowds at that. So we're trying to find some larger venues to hold those 3 meetings, and then throughout the city, not just in one location. So there'll be plenty of time for input during the process.
Thank you.
And like he said, a survey and so forth. And they did have the initial meeting. Basically, it was just, everybody introduced themselves, and, talked about why we live in Ashtabula, why we chose to stay here, why we chose to come back and so forth. So it was more like an introductory meeting. But I think it's a good thing that when we do have a meeting, that we do report back to council on what was going on and so forth.
We can do that, sure.
Yeah, I think that's a good, thank you for that idea and for that concern. That's a good one.
Mr. President,
Yes,
thank you, Councilor Guerrero, for bringing those questions. And I appreciate the thoughtfulness around being proactive. And I did also have a number of questions, which don't have to be answered right now, but it's certainly on my mind when we think about the wards that are represented on the master plan. Like, just wondering about the level of diversity, wards that are represented, gender equity, racial equity, representation from businesses from the various wards. Like, there are a lot of considerations, but it is my hope that we're being thoughtful and diverse on the front end to minimize issues or questions, as Councilor Guerrero brings up after the fact.
thank you, Ms. Holman.
I have something for unfinished business, actually 2 things. So at our last meeting, we had a constituent express interest in joining a board. So I went online to see what openings we have, and a lot of our boards have expired people on, well, they're not expired people, expired terms on the board. So I think we need to pay attention to that, because I've had people reach out to me that are interested in being involved, and, you know, maybe we just need to keep up to date on that. And I don't know, is there a term limit for our boards, or?
Mr. President, in the boards and commissions roster that's online, in the title, it does say who appoints who, and it also has the term in there as well. For each one of them is different.
Okay. And then the other thing that is old business, just in listening to neighbors, speeding is still a big issue. And I just want to air that concern.
Thank you. Mrs. DiGiacomo, anything else for unfinished business? Is there any new business anyone like to bring before council?
I have stuff.
Okay.
On Washington Avenue between Bunker Hill and West 58th, a couple neighbors requested for no parking signs on the same side as the fire hydrant. And in going door to door and looking at other streets, I noticed that often we are having no parking signs on the side of the street that is opposite the fire hydrant. And I just think it makes more sense to have it on the same side as, no parking is the same side as the fire hydrant.
Mr. President, so Ms. DiGiacomo, I think I sent you the legislation on that. And also, when Aqua did the water line project, I think is when they installed those new hydrants on Washington Avenue. So I think what you're asking for is the no parking to be flipped from one side to the other?
Right.
Okay.
So does that go to, I don't know what the process looks like. Does that go to safety forces?
So the process would go to safety forces. Ultimately, the police department will do a study, see if it's required. We do a survey out to those that are affected. They send letters. We wait for those responses to come back, and then the chief or somebody on the staff will send me a letter that just says we either recommend or keep it the same.
And then the other request was on West 58th from West Avenue to Nathan Avenue. Again, a speeding problem, which I witnessed an accident too. But speeding is a problem there, and they understand that the police can't be everywhere, and they just wondered if they could have signage, a request to slow down children at play, because there were a lot of kids out playing in the street.
Playing in the street on West 58th?
Between West Avenue and Nathan Avenue.
All right, thank you, Mrs. DiGiacomo. Does anyone have anything that they'd like to share with council tell us something we don't know?
Mr. President?
Yes.
Just one thing I forgot to mention during my report, October 9th, which I believe is this Thursday,
Yes.
is the 100th birthday for the Lift Bridge. And the Lift Bridge Community Association at 5:30 p.m. will be doing a little birthday bash at the transient dock and then going over to the bridge for a picture. So everybody in the community is invited to attend.
And that's at Carlisle's Park.
Yes.
The river.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you. Anything else tell us something we don't know?
Mr. President,
Yes.
just creating a little space, Counselor DiGiacomo, you just might want to share your request to honor October.
Yes. So I had sent out an email, and I want to thank everybody that participated to wear pink, because October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and I appreciate all the pinks.
Okay, thank you. Okay, at this time of the meeting, we
Oh,
will,
Mr. President,
I have more stuff, too.
yeah, we're not done down on this end.
So I just wanted to share with everyone, I went to the Ashtabula Art Center, the Paul and Norma Tikkanen Jurd Art Exhibit. The Ashtabula Art Center's annual Paul and Norma Tikkanen Jurd Art Exhibit is now open through the entire month of October, and it's a must-see for anyone who appreciates creativity and community. The exhibit hours are Monday through Thursday, 9 to 9, Friday 9 to 4, Saturday 10 to 3. Visitors are invited to stop by the upper gallery and leave comments on the clipboard displayed on a pedestal. Share your thoughts, favorite pieces, or words of encouragement for the artist. This incredible Jurd show is made possible through the generosity of Paul Tikkanen, a local artist who studied at the Cleveland Institute of Art. Paul was an abstract painter, sculptor, and photographer whose vision, shared with his wife Norma, was to see the visual arts flourish in our region. Their legacy continues through the Paul and Norma Tikkanen Trust, established with the Ashtabula Art Center Foundation, to highlight and reward talented, emerging, and professional artists from Northeast Ohio and Northwest Pennsylvania. Awards presented: first place, $15,000. I have to say they had 450 applicants. Word is getting out, this was their 4th year. For abstract, it was a local, Ryan Humphrey, who won with his Starry Night. Realism was Lily, I'm probably going to mutilate this last name, Butita, Only Minutes Left. Second place, which was $6,000. The abstract was Philip Boontain, not titled. Realism was Katie Richards. So Tonight That I Might See. There were honorable mentions at $1,200 each. And congratulations to all this year's winners and participants, and thank you to the Tikkanen family for their lasting gift to the arts. I would highly, highly recommend to stop at the Art Center and see this work. I was absolutely blown away. I don't even know how they can pick one over everyone else, because it was just great to see. Now I'm done.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Yeah, I know we had that extra week in there, so just to recap, there's a lot of things that happened in the last few weeks, but Kids for Positive Change did have a Walnut Beach cleanup. That was on September 20th, organized by Camille Lacotte. Very successful. Volunteered with my family. Thank you, Mr. Khan, also volunteered. I noticed that there was a lot of stuff that we picked up. So, Mr. Manager, I'm not sure, is there a trash can when you first go down the hill straight, the beach?
There's,
By the break wall area?
yes, there's trash cans pretty much everywhere on the beach.
Okay, we got a lot, that area, on both of those sides was, real thick we were getting in there. But that's all, how they measure it, and then that goes in, for a study, because it's the International Coastal Day or whatever we participated in. So as I was looking at some of the stuff, when people say, things to do, from the last council meeting, the Public Water Pollution had their conference, the Beulah Brew Fest was in the harbor, the beach cleanup, the harvest in the harbor. We have a new business that's going to be opening downtown. I met with them. The Bagel Barn had a ribbon cutting. The West 38th Park had their improvements. There was a DeGeorge Law Firm ribbon cutting. So we had a lot of really good positive things that are going on. Upcoming events, we have the Dreams Center ribbon cutting and the 100th year celebration of the lift bridge. So just wanted to showcase we have a lot of good positive things going on. Another thing is working on, I've always been on the Halo Gala Catholic Charities Committee. So that's Holiday Angels, Loving Others, Share Your Christmas. Provides food and toys to individuals and families in need. There's a big need this year with prices, everything. So the big gala is November 8th. It's a Saturday. The doors open at 4 o'clock. Our Lady of Peace Community Center, live music by Good Question. They're still playing. Prime rib or stuffed chicken. They have 50-50 raffle, baskets, and everything goes for the families. So if you need information, you can contact me or Catholic Charities. It's a great event. Thank
And
you.
if I wanted a ticket, how much would that be, Jody?
That is $75 per person, and that gets you in, and that gets you your food and your open bar and all the festivities.
Mr. President?
Yes.
If we're going to bring up things that have happened in the past, I want to congratulate Alex and Sarah Izzy for the Izzy Cancer Research Bocce Tournament that took place last Saturday. It was an extremely well-done event. They had 28 teams. They had a rock and roll band. They raised all kinds of money for cancer research. And while we're on that note, I guess this is a shout out to Public Works. Over at the Masucci Field Sports Complex, softball and youth football going on all at the same time. To my knowledge, everything went super smooth, no problems. I know a lot of effort goes into all that with all the organizers of those events, and I'm real happy that we have all that Ward 2 stuff happening, along with all that stuff on Fifth Street, which is also in my ward. So, thank you for everyone that helped.
Well, as you know, I only care about the harbor, so.
Well, as long as it's Ward 2 focused, that's good. I'll complain when you worry about something else.
All right, very good. All right, I think it's now time for the public. Anyone like to comment? We appreciate you waiting. So just state your name and your address, and we will go from there.
Hello. All right, I'm on. Hi, everybody. Blake Hinkle, corner of West 16th and Union in the harbor. I just wanted to come up at the beginning with pre-council. I was worried that maybe some of what we're doing in relation to the trees legislation was mischaracterized. I don't want any bad work in relation to what we're trying to do. It's strictly about the trees. I'm hoping by speaking about this that maybe in good faith I can continue to work towards that. The reason in the beginning of pre-council, for the people at home and the people in the thing that don't know, it was brought up that there may have been a bypass in how procedure's done. As someone that's new to the board, I just want to say in earnest, I don't know how any of that stuff's done, guys. I'm just trying to do things that are positive for the city. I'm trying to make a positive impact. I have a lot of inertia behind me because I am crazy motivated, probably to a fault, but I want to channel that into good things for the city. I don't want to make anything negative. I really just want to do good things for the city. So to that end, I apologize to council if that was done improperly. I'm going to continue to fight to get trees replanted in the parks, and I'm proud of the work that I've done. I do not in any way want to negate that, but I didn't do it in any way to be disrespectful. And I would hope that in the spirit of good faith, work can be continued on that legislation, because I do think it prudent policy, and I do think that above all, I just want to see Ashtabula better, my ego and everything else aside. So with that, thank you.
Thank you, Blake.
Mr. President, just to comment on that tree ordinance. So when I finally got a chance to look at it, it's and with the solicitor's input and Mr. Hinkle's input, it's a good piece of legislation. We do actually have a section of our codifieds that deals strictly with trees. So my suggestion was, don't just pass an ordinance that somebody has to remember is out there. Let's put this in the book in a chapter. So I think that tree chapter is a good place to put it. And I think I haven't had a chance to talk to the solicitor. We were just going back and forth on Friday with a lot of this stuff. I think we should also add something to the parks legislation, because it's specific to the parks right now, that references that section in the tree ordinance of the replanting, so that whoever comes after us knows that it's there, rather than just an ordinance hanging out there that the clerk or somebody has to do the research to find because it's not in the actual codified chapters. So I think there's two very good versions of it out there, whichever one the committee or the solicitor approves, I think are good to go. So it'll just be a matter of having that approval, I think going back to the committee at our next meeting and then bringing it forward to the council.
Thank you.
First of all, my name's Harold Dean. I want to address something, maybe it's not something it needs to be addressed. First of all, respectfully to the mayor, respectfully to the president, respectfully to my council. The last couple times I came up here, I had an issue with the sweeper or whatever. And when I was making my statement, I got very offended by someone on your panel rolling their eyes. Respect is respect. If you want us as citizens to come and join your different committees, and yet when we come to your meetings, we don't feel that you validate our opinions or our statement by your suggestions of rolling your eyes when somebody asks a question, that's just not right, you guys. If you want us as citizens to respect you, respect us. You do not have to think our question is a worldwide question you gotta go and do all this research on. Just be respectful. I was very offended that I took the time out of my schedule to come up here to sit on the council meeting to see what you guys are doing. But when I came up here, addressed my question, because I did not hear that the mayor had said something about the sweepers were broke or whatever. But when I stood up here and made my statement, and you guys, if you notice, I was looking at each one of your eyes when you're around, when I'm going around, and I got the respect us, because we will respect you. Don't want to address it one-on-one yet. I want to be peaceful coming to your meetings, and I want to respect every last one of you. We voted for you. We voted for you because we thought you were our voices when we have concerns. But if you make me feel like I cannot come up here and address a question without facial or expressions, like I'm not intelligent enough to ask the question in this arena, then I won't even bother coming. And I would spread that, excuse me, I'm respectful to my Ward 3. I always spread that to Ward 3. Because we have a right to come up here and say or ask the questions that we want. And in no respect to my councilman, but when I'm standing up here, I don't have to have anybody talk for me. If I have a question, I want to ask the question, I want to get the answers. I don't want one person saying one thing, someone else saying another thing, and a third thing. I want to hear from every last one of you on the same answer. That's my concern. I did not come last week because I was still here. Here. Respect me as a citizen, and I will respect every last one of you as a citizen. If you don't agree with me, just stand there and be straight faced. I need you rolling your ass at me, because there's two sides of me, respectful and non-respectful. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
My name is Austin Clark, Columbus Avenue. This week, the north side of Columbus had a red light that the bulb was burned out. I called Ashtabula Police non-emergency. I just wanted to thank the city for getting it taken care of so quickly. The next time I drove through, I was leaving when I saw it. By the next time I drove through, it was already fixed, so thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Hello, I just moved back from Florida to Ashtabula, and I was born and raised here. My father worked here, my mother worked here. I come back and I'm saddened to see downtown Ashtabula not looking very well. I'm saddened to see a burn house on West Avenue that is just standing and nobody's taking care of it. I do understand you have 2 code enforcement officers. I'm wondering if that's enough. You have people that do not care about their properties. It's sad. Route 20 is the main thoroughfare into Ashtabula. And a lot of these homes are atrocious. I mean, they don't mind putting up Halloween decorations, but heaven forbid, mow your grass or cut your weeds or paint your house. You go up Center Street, and as before you get to the bridge, there's an old building. It looks like it's been there for 100 years. Nobody's done anything with it. You pull out of Huntington Bank, and there's a brick building that's all boarded up, and it looks like it's been there for 15, 20 years. I mean, if Detroit, Michigan can come out and bounce back from a bankruptcy, I don't understand why we can't remedy this in Ashtabula. We have a lot of businesses here. We have a lot of manufacturing here, more than in the South. And I just don't understand it. And it just saddens me. And I just, you know, I am sending pictures in that to, you know, the public, the Ashtabula planning, because I'm just saddened by what I see. And I'm not here just to, but this is a lovely town. It really is, and it always has been. And how are we going to be proud if we don't take care of this community? And, you know, I just think there needs to be more done for these people to understand that they have to take care of their property. I understand you charge permits for landlords, but you only go out 1 in every 3 years to see if the property is okay. So I've been doing some investigating. I've also I guess you guys, we got thousands of dollars for demolishing buildings. You can only do so many. You have a process of what you do. But it's just something that I'm very concerned about, and I hope to see it get better. That's all I have to say.
Could we have your name, ma'am, for the record? We have
Cindy Pajak.
Cindy Pajak. Okay, you got that?
Thank you.
Thank you. And I know you've been here for the meeting, and like I mentioned, when Ms. Cooper files on somebody's property not being taken care of, they get 28 days to go to court. Then they might do something, and then they can get another 28 days.
There's a lot of properties.
Yes,
And you
we
need
know.
more, I think you need another code
Well,
enforcer.
we have 2 now, and we're working as much as we can. And like a house, when a house burns down, the insurance company takes over, and then they tell us when we could do and what we can do and so forth. So it's not like we're not trying. It's just, there's so many extraneous circumstances and things that we have to deal with to get where
But what
we
about-
want to be
what
also.
about downtown Ashtabula?
Yeah.
That's our downtown
Right.
area.
Yeah, well,
10 years ago, I had communicated with the city manager. That went on deaf ear. That was 10 years ago. It's gotten worse.
yeah.
And this is your town. This is our town. It really needs to be taken care of.
Yeah.
And you paint your houses. There has to be some kind of codes to make these people do things. But I'll tell you, I'm going down the road and taking pictures. I'm going to keep you busy
Okay.
because I don't like what I see. So that's it.
Well, thank you. We appreciate you coming. Anyone else who would like to address council?
Hello, my name is Mary Graves. I live on Washington Avenue. As some of you probably are aware, Enbridge is putting in new gas lines in the area on Adams. Last week or the week before, they came through and they put new lines in our tree lawn. But when they put down hay, but when they stacked it, like the way that they do this process, they really messed up our sidewalk in front of my house. I have before and after pictures that I could send to the city manager or whoever would like them, but I figured I would bring it up at city council meeting first and see where or who might need to be contacted for that.
You can send that information to me and I'll get with Enbridge on it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Graves.
Good evening, Susan Smith, Ward 5. I'd like to thank the city manager for getting on Domino's and getting that asphalt out of the street and worked on. Kudos. I'd also like to thank him for going or working, trying to get our Coast Guard here. As he knows, we're boaters. It's very important. I also would like to thank the police officers and the fire department for what they did, rescue. They need a proclamation. They need to be recognized, big time, because that was something. With no Coast Guard here, they were heroes. Fast response. We have no Coast Guard here. We had them here one time after, and maybe I'm wrong, they promised to be here every weekend, correct? We witnessed seeing them one time, which we cheered on our boat when they went by, yelling at them, please, we need you. Okay, those are my good things.
Well, Ms. Smith, I would just say, the police or the firemen were going to come tonight, but it's more convenient for them to come on October 20th.
Okay.
So we will be recognizing certainly their,
I figured you would. I just want to say from,
thank you, yeah.
Yes.
I agree, thank you.
okay. Litter. I'm going to ask about litter. What is the ordinance for litter on the tree lawn? I don't know. I would assume a lot of you have gone down Lake Avenue and seen piles of trash, upside down coffee tables. The sanitation doesn't pick that up. Am I correct? That's not garbage.
Mr. President, it depends. If the resident has called for a pickup, we will. But we try to tell people, do not put things out on the tree lawn until you have it scheduled with us and know when we're coming by. I think the couple areas that you spoke of, we did investigate today. They were move-outs, and people just dumped things on the tree lawn, the tenants, so we had to call landlords.
Okay. I also notice in our parks, there seems to be a lot of litter going on. Now, maybe we've had things happening, I don't know. I wish there was a way of finding out when events are going to happen, if there was some way to have that on Facebook or wherever to find out. That looks terrible. I mean, I have to agree with this lady. It just looks awful. It's a bad thing. Other question is, on our street, a lot of speeding. We have 3 apartment buildings. We've noticed it's awful. We're out doing yard work, they fly by. And I'm sorry I wasn't prepared. I would have brought videos for you to see. I know they can't be everywhere, I understand that. But it would be nice if someone could just sit there a little while, just to have them see that, and maybe give a ticket once in a while. They might get the idea that, look, we can't be speeding. We can't do it. It's wrong. We have children on our street. I have grandchildren. I mean, it just goes on and on. Next thing is, I notice on our street we have paint or something written by the sewer grates. Is there something coming up? Looks like a November or a date or something on it.
You're on
Ave?
Jefferson?
Yeah.
And unless it's part of the Enbridge project over there where we had to mark our equipment, so our sewer laterals or in storm laterals, but I can find out.
Is Enbridge coming down that street
I
too?
can't remember where their project was. They were doing a lot of gas line replacement in that vicinity. We might have just had to mark our equipment so they could determine what paths to take, but
Okay.
let me find out what
I
those
just wasn't sure,
markings
is
are.
it going to be a cleaning, or is it, I don't know. It's hard to, like, make out what it is. It's the one in front of our house and then down a little further.
I'll come by
Sewer
tomorrow and
thing.
take a look.
But that scares me because you know what happened in 2018, where our basement backed up.
Yes. Mhm.
And insurance didn't pay, so we got the writer. I think that's it. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Anyone else?
These your notes?
Thank you.
No problem. Ryan Lensel, I live right down here on Main Avenue. I'd echo the sentiments of Ms. Pajak and a couple other people about the condition of some of the houses and the way that we take care of those things. Specifically, I had a question for Ms. Cooper about the injunctions that you were talking about for the properties. Has an injunction been, or any activity taken place for the Dollar General Market?
The brand-new Dollar General on Main Avenue?
The one across the street? Yeah.
No.
Okay.
It's not in violation of any of our housing codes.
Well, not housing, of course, but I'm referring to the siding has been off of it for over 6 months. The grass is not growing. It's mostly stones and weeds. The retention pond is full of garbage all the time. It's an eyesore. It's brought up regularly. And I'm just wondering if we are attempting to hold corporations accountable as well as our citizens. They have much deeper pockets for maintenance. They obviously have money set aside for maintenance procedures, and that is an eyesore, and people bring it up all the time within the community.
I didn't know that. Nobody has ever brought it up to my office. I don't know if
I
they...
believe it is at your office.
Okay.
Mr. President, we have issued violation letters on them months ago, actually, and that's why it's going over to the solicitor's office now.
Thank you. I appreciate that, so I want to know. I think Ms. Foglio was talking about the previous finance director not having sent out required letters. Those letters for tax collection were required by law to be sent out. Is that correct?
Mr. President, they're required to be sent out if you're going to ask the Attorney General to enforce the tax payment. If you're going to file any kind of suit to collect taxes, then you have to send the letter first.
So it's part of the process.
Yes, sir.
Those are people who hadn't been paying their taxes.
Mhm.
We refer them to the Attorney General, and then we have to send out this letter.
So the letters were not sent. Are those letters, did the previous finance director, Augustin, break any laws by not submitting those letters despite the fact that it was part of a collection effort? Were any laws broken?
No.
Okay. I just wanted to know if there was, if they were going to be held accountable for failure of duty. And then, go ahead.
No, you're fine.
And then lastly, I just wanted to clarify the question that City Manager Timonier had said earlier about not having to bring the items to council that you had talked about because they had fallen between, they were under 50,000, right? So to understand correctly, because I read some of this and I want to make sure I understand it, there are 3 initiatives that are on the ballot. One of them gives you the ability to spend up to $50,000, up from $10,000 without council approval.
Correct.
A second one gives you the same capability, but for change orders.
Correct. Well, just the total contract price cannot exceed $50,000. So say there was a contract for $40,000, somebody came in with a change order for 11. I could not enter into that. That would have to come back to council. So any expenditure over $50,000, no matter what it is, has to come to council first.
So if there was an estimate in a real world example that was, say, originally 10,000, and then it got adjusted through a change order to 49,000, you could theoretically approve that without talking to council?
Correct.
Okay, so the first 2 documents give you the ability to quintuple your purchasing power without talking to council, and the third one is only a 10% variation from the engineer's estimates. Is that correct?
So engineers' estimates are usually on huge projects.
Mhm.
So those would be well over 50,000 to begin with.
Right.
Right now, we're actually, that kind of mirrors what ODOT does right now, the 10% variance. So let's say our paving contract, I'm just using a good number for roundness. The engineer's estimate was 100,000 and the bids came in at 111,000. We would have to throw those out and rebid.
Right.
Today, if we had an engineer's estimate of 100,000 and the bids came in at $100,001, I'd have to throw it out.
Right. So the last one is really 10% total, And there's the 10% adjustment, and there's no cap on that? Like if it was a $10 million project, would it still be 10%? Would you still have the discretion up to $1 million in that example?
No, anything, again, over $50,000 would have to come back to council for approval.
So
Doesn't matter.
you would have up to $49,999 essentially?
Yes.
Okay. And then lastly is a comment that I had, which was I attended the October 1st Parks Committee meeting, and I had asked you specifically about the graffiti procedure. You had clarified for me how that process worked, or at least that I should have contacted you. That evening, I did wind up sending 3 sites to you and then sending you an email to confirm that. Within 24 hours, you did instruct the staff to make an attempt, and even though you and I agreed in the email that it wasn't a perfect attempt and that there is more revision needed, that you did respond to that within 24 hours with action. I wanted to thank you for that. I believe that that is part of a government that works for the people, is responsiveness. Within the context of graffiti, it is particularly important that we cover it very quickly because it's already been replaced in some areas. Things that I had covered up within the last 30 days are already back again, and we need to stay on those issues. But responsiveness from our government on our concerns instills trust and respect among the citizens, and it increases civic pride and civic involvement. So it is extraordinarily important, if we're going to raise our standards, that that continues to happen. So thank you.
Just thinking outside of the box for the trees, I was thinking citizens might be willing to put up a tree for their loved ones, like a memory tree, and that would help the cost of planting the trees.
I suppose, yeah.
Okay.
Mr. President, yeah, so that could be, and actually in the ordinance that was suggested, there is a section in there that says corporations, citizens, in memorial of, can make donations to the city to further that.
But we could
yeah.
really let people know, like make it a
Yep,
thing.
and I think once the ordinance comes out,
Okay.
that'll all come out with it.
And one more thing, what's happening with the facades and the sidewalks and things on downtown?
Yeah,
Are we
so
not,
to that point, we did receive a $1.6 million grant to redo all the sidewalks and to help the business owners redo their facades on Main Avenue.
Right.
That has to be spent by October next year. So we are working through that grant process right now. That was a long process. As Ms. DiGiacomo mentioned, as we were ready to sign all of the subrecipient grant agreements, as they call it, because the money is funneling from the state through Eastgate and then to us. The state threw a little hiccup at us, basically saying that the businesses couldn't hone their own contracts. We're going to have to hold those contracts and administer the grant that way. It's quite different than what we've done for past facade programs, but we're still confident that we're going to be able to get this done.
so you're thinking
Everything has to be
spring?
done by October.
Right, not
Yeah.
much time.
Actually, there might be some things that can be done over the wintertime.
Okay.
We are going to hold off on doing the sidewalks
Oh,
until
of
spring. Obviously, we're getting a little bit late here in the season, and we actually think we're going to get better pricing when we do it next year. But in that plan is not only the sidewalks, but street lighting. We're going to replace the street lighting downtown with negative rating, so.
Okay, thank you.
And then also next year is the Collins Boulevard $1.2 million grant we got to redo all of Collins Boulevard.
May I add a comment? So, years ago, my brother, he was head of the Frank Lloyd Wright Foundation, and his vision for South Main was always to get rid of all the buildings and just let the trees show through. And I have to say, it looks pretty nice.
We've gotten 2 of them gone, so. Yep.
It looks nice, driving and just seeing nature.
Mr. President, I just wanted to clarify, I double-checked with Mrs. Colgan, and my office doesn't have anything about Dollar Tree yet.
Okay.
There was probably a violation letter. Mr. Timonier confirmed there's a violation letter that was sent, but it hasn't been sent over for enforcement, so they're still in the process of giving them the opportunity to fix it.
Okay. Thank you. All right, seeing no one else who wants to address council, we thank you all for coming. Our next meeting is October 20th on Monday, and that'll also be at 6:30. So enjoy your weeks.